What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin. You are joined with Zach Stone today for the Friday weekly market watch, where we go over Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. And today we got to start off with this absurd news that we got in our Discord from Shady Peach. Go check out his YouTube channel. He does Lorcana box openings. He ordered a box of Shimmering Skies from Amazon, and he claims that he received Pokemon cards instead in these already opened packs. And I know Pokemon's like the gold rush right now of TCGs, but it's not a good thing when you're getting already open packs of commons and rares from Pokemon when you wanted Lorcana especially. But that is insane. Be sure to obviously record some of the stuff you open when you're getting these deals off of Amazon. Sometimes the deals are too good to be true, right, Zach?
I'm sure this deal might have been too good to be true. I'm not too sure on the exact listing. But just keep in mind that this was shared on our Discord server. So if you guys want to see, get involved in this kind of action, this kind of nonsense, but share any, similar stories, because somebody also commented that their wife received a
Yeah.
box like this.
Wonderful. Yeah,
So
wonderful. Said it happened to him too. So it's not the first time I guess it's been happening. That's pretty outrageous. And I trust these people. Like they're Lorcana members, community members, and Goon Squad members. And it's always really fun to have you guys in the Discord and sharing these stories. Because when Zach told me this, I was like, what? No way. And it was an interesting way to start the morning. Yeah, man. Ordering boxes and not getting what you ordered is never a good feeling. You can. Oh, he said that he's gonna report the seller. He's in talks with the investigation for TCG player and all that stuff. But sorry, Amazon and all that stuff. But on TCG Player and other websites, you can find the new Set 7 box ready to go. It's basically going to be selling for around 125, close to 130 today. Like I was saying last week, the boxes have been selling way more than the other sets. Most of the sets were selling at an average of $100, maybe like 110. But for the most part, this set is selling for a little bit more. Lowest verified is going to be Dex and Dice LLC. They have it for 120 plus $8 shipping. That's about $130 basically after taxes is what you're paying for the booster box. And this is very reassuring to see, considering that like Azurite Seas were so easy to grab and they were selling for like dang near $90. Ursa's Return, even Into the Inklands, we've been seeing how much Into the Inklands was printed. We've seen boxes currently listed for like $60 to $70. And it feels like for the first time in a minute, we have a very exciting set in Lorcana. We have some really awesome enchanteds in this set. There's some pretty cool meta impacting cards, and everybody's favorite card is going to be the Tamatoa, right?
well, yeah, that is the chase from that set right now. The Enchanted is something to very much talk about. We're seeing a lot of different prices going on some of these cards from this set, and
Mhm.
that is definitely the card that everyone wants to pull from their box.
But yeah, we'll check on that price today. We'll see how it is on Friday because it's the first day of the retail release. A lot of people have been saying that the prices are going to come down, and for the most part, a lot of the single prices do tend to fall a little bit now that we have access to finding these cards at Target and Walmart and all that. But I do think that we're gonna see like big meta trends, and I don't know. I feel like the Tamatoa Happy as a Clam is going to be still the chase of the set. But I also want to mention that we have the Arcasia's Island gift box available at retail stores. These are going to be selling for around $35, and the Lilo promo you get in here is going to be selling for around $15, which is a pretty good value in my opinion because you're getting a $15 promo plus 5 packs. And the packs you get are going to be from sets 2 through 6 actually. So unfortunately, you do not get any Arcasia's Island in this gift box. That's a little sad to me. Like I was hoping we get at least one Arcasia's Island pack, but you're gonna get stuff from sets 2 through 6, which is not bad. And personally, set 2 is hard to find. Rise of the Floodborn has some good hits. A lot of these sets are gonna have some good hits. Imagine getting a legendary off of this. That'd be really nice, right? But let's talk about the Tamatoa, Zach Stone, because Tamatoa Happy as a Clam, the chase of the set, selling for almost $500. We did see some sales for 500. The highest we've seen it sell is 450 right here on the 16th, and the most recent sale is the 19th at 389. What do you think? It was on the 14th, so the all-time high was that $500 sale on the 14th. And yeah, since then you can look at this: 350, 350, 450, 380, 395, 400.
Yeah, and honestly, it seems to be that it's settling around that price. So, I think the deal would be if somebody had a play set that we're letting go for like 1,500. That's probably about what I think most people would be comfortable paying if they're looking to actually buy a play set.
fifteen
You
hundred
know,
for a
I
playset is wild. That's like a check and a half for a lot of people.
Yeah, keep in mind, guys, that these sellers that do sell on TCG Player, when you're selling on TCG, there is fees, there's shipping that goes into all of these cards, so you're not getting this full amount back. So it's good to consider that, like, if you're trying to make a little bit of a deal, it's good to see where you're at. But
Mm.
the lowest one that you can buy right now is 475. I personally implore
Technically,
everyone to do their due diligence and do all their research on other marketplaces to see whether people are letting them go for. What were you gonna say?
Technically, you can get this one for 450 by the Ink Locker. They only have two sales. Maybe you want to hook them up with their third sale and pick up their Enchanted Tamatoa. If you like getting cards graded, they even included a picture for you. I wish they would have included a picture of the back so I can see the centering for this card in case you do want to get something like this graded. But there's going to be some listings available for you guys, and it's like I said, it's getting very close to that $500 mark. The only listing being 475. I'm pretty sure if you go on eBay slash OfferUp, people are going to be asking for at least $400, and it's pretty cool to see, man. Imagine you're just cracking open some packs of Arcadia's Island and you pull the $400 chase card. Ooh, man, it makes that box worth it. Totally worth it. There's some other good enchanteds in this set too that make the box worth it. I think some awesome artwork for some enchanteds that aren't even seeing a lot of meta play, but quite frankly, they just seem to have some collectability. Bell Mechanic Extraordinaire is still selling for more than 150 or listed for 150. We have Cascade Games for 156.50, and some recent sales on the 19th are selling for 150. So you can pull some enchantments from the box and basically get your entire value back there. So that's not too bad either. But I want to talk about some of the older enchanted rares, specifically the set champs promos, because some of them are starting to pick up a little bit in interest. We have the Ursula Sea Witch Queen listed for 93.94 as the lowest verified, almost $95. And we have some recent sales too right here. On the 20th, somebody bought one for 93. On the 18th, 93. The 17th, 93. So in the last couple of weeks of March, it's looking like they've been selling for more than $90. And before they were in that $80 range for is what it looked like more than February, January time. So is it going to hit $100 soon? Possibly. This was the third set champ. No, the second set championship promo, right? So even for this one, you had to get top four to get it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is during that time when they did increase the threshold of earning a card from making top eight. You did have to win your first round of top eight or just be in the top four, if it was just top four. But yeah, the Ursula doesn't see play, but these store championship cards are seeing more collectability being looked into them, and it's a good reflection. Um, who knows? It might make it more worth it to play into the future set champs to know that your cards, uh, you know, come out in the very beginning. They're going to be low, but as time goes on, more people get their hands on them, and they start to go up, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, a lot of people have told me like, yeah, I love watching the market watch, and when I and so and they know that we've talked about how the set champs promos tend to go up, so they've been people have told me before like, yeah, I don't want to sell my Scar, I don't want to sell my Maribel because it's gonna go back up, right? And I'm like, I don't know if it will, but this Scar was selling for as low as $30 is what it was looking like, and today the lowest verified is gonna be Izzy Ribs for $42 and a dollar shipping. Then TCG Southside, it's gonna be around $45. So if you wanted the Scar set champs promo for less than $40, it's looking like they're all going to be gone. But I think the average lowest was like 25 to 30. And right now, you're going to have to pay at least $40 for your Scar Set Champs promo. Let's talk about the Oswald Lucky Rabbit, because this week, if you guys didn't know, Zan Syed released a new updated Metafy Blue Steel list where he's not playing Oswald. If you don't know who Zan Syed is, he's one of the best players in Lorcana, DLC champion, etc., etc. And he was playing Oswald. He released a deck list, and now this week, no Oswald in his deck list. And I feel like we're starting to see some of the Oswald hype calm down a little bit. But I want to look at the D23 promo specifically because this is the one that is more collectible. You can only get this from that collection, right? There's very few listings compared to the other Oswald. So there's 19 available, $116 with a dollar shipping by Homebrew Deck Tech. That's going to be the lowest verified. So I don't think these have been moving too much personally. Last sale was on the 16th, so it's been already almost a week since somebody bought one of these, and the highest it ever hit was like 120. So it looks like it's kind of calming down a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, and not too many people want to crack open this D23 set, but I know some of the prices of those cards. If you like do the math and add them up, basically net you a free anywhere between $40 and $60 in value when you do um get rid of them at their current market price individually. So if that's something you can move pretty well, I consider that for a quick flip. Other than that, it's a little bit harder. I personally just keep mine sealed. I kind of want the long term collectability in that, but the card itself, it does look very nice in this kind of alternate art.
I definitely appreciate the alternate art for Oswald. I just like the full art stuff in Lorcana. It's the full arts are very expensive though, unfortunately. Let's take a look at some meta trending cards because we were just talking about Tamatoa Happy as a Clam. A lot of people have been asking me, is this card going to go back down in price? Is it going to go down in price? Should I buy it now? Do I buy it later? Honestly, if you need the card, you want to play a tournament with this card, just pick it up for your tournaments. If you want to wait X amount of time, it could come down. But my personal opinion is that this is one of the best cards in Lorcana right now. It feels like a universal card. You can pretty much play Sapphire with any color. I've said this many times. You can play Sapphire with like any color right now because this Tamatoa allows you to have a consistent draw engine now. Because you can just grab back popsicles, which is kind of unfair. But today, lowest verified, even though it is the big box retail, is only $5 cheaper than what it was last week. I choose you, $55.90 with $1 shipping. Then it immediately jumps to Jack Attack, $59 shipping included. Next level games, $59.59, basically $60 still. Outside of that first $55 listing. And cold foils, which by the way, I pulled a cold foil crab on Instagram Live yesterday. I was opening some troves which we found at Target. And I was so hyped, bro. I was so hyped. We pulled the cold foil Tamatoa. Very nice, very nice. These are going to be selling for a little bit cheaper though. These were as high as like $90 at one point during the first week when it was launched. And today, $75 for a cold foil by JAC Games. Shout out you guys. And I do want to mention that we have seen cold foil meta staples hit $100 before. Rapunzel, Sad Beast, I don't know. I don't know. Tamatoa might be the next one eventually. What do you think?
Temato is just a very solid card. I think a lot of Sapphire players were very happy to know that the legendaries were strong in their pool. This is rough, right? Because I don't know if you're always going to pull two Sapphire legendaries from boxes. I'm sure it's possible, but you pulling the cold foil one out of the trove. The troves are like up in the air. You could pull like three Tematoes out of a trove for all I know. Yeah, it can be that good, but the card itself, it deserves its price point in my honest opinion. After playing a little bit of Sapphire Steel in my local tournaments and on Fight Club, I've been pretty much sold on how good this card is and why it is like a $55-$60 card right now.
Would you agree with me that like you could potentially play this with like any color combo? Like I feel like this card gives access to that. Obviously, it won't be like the most competitive deck in either. Like if you play like blue yellow or blue green, but it makes it playable in my opinion.
Blue green has a little bit more playability than blue yellow. I was immediately thinking like blue yellow and blurple might have a harder time. Like sure you can just play the bell package, but like I think there needs to be a little bit more utility with some of the items you're adding back. There is Amethyst Chromacon, but that does net your an opponent a card as well. So who knows? But yeah,
It
solid
it
cards
just feels like
overall.
you're gonna play four of this in any blue deck, right? Like whether it be now in the future. Such a good card, such a good card. It doesn't warrant its price. I mean, it just depends on like how popular Lorcana is. Is there a lot of tournaments happening? We don't even have any DLCs announced or anything like that. So shout out all the tournament organizers for holding it down right now in this gray area space where we're waiting for like big major events to be announced. But if you have any local tournaments, be sure to drop them in the comments. Join our Discord. We have a section there too for events where you can let people know in your area if there's anything happening there. Well, I'm actually going to go to the Top Choice Gaming Quadruple Case tournament tomorrow. So if you guys are going to be in the Inland Empire area of California, San Bernardino County, basically, look up Top Choice Gaming. There's a big tournament happening. I'm going to be there. I'm super excited to play. Kind of worried to take a day off of working at the Ninja Exchange booth, but hey, like I got to do it for the love of the game, man. Don't know what deck I'm gonna play though. Zach is definitely encouraging the homies to play Sapphire Steel. But personally, I think it's a good deck. Is it the best deck ever? I'm not sure. I don't think it's tier 0. I have some spice that I've been cooking up myself. So hopefully I do well in the tournament. So wish me luck. But let's talk about some other meta cards. Rapunzel today going to be selling for as low as $50. They kind of came down in price a little bit. $60 was the highest that we were seeing in the last couple weeks, and today Izzy Rips has them for $50 on the dot with $1 shipping. You can also hit up Moonfox. They have 4 sales, basically the same price, but they're a non-verified seller. So Rapunzels, let's see what the cold foils are looking like, because like I was just saying, look at this. This cold foil Rapunzel is still more expensive than the Tamatoa. There's way more people playing Sapphire than Amber right now for sure. But I do think that because this card is from the first chapter, it's kind of collectible. If you picked up this card in Cold Foil, you probably don't want to get rid of it anytime soon. Because if Amber ever becomes like a deck you want to play again, you might as well keep it in your arsenal, right? But lowest verify is going to be 8406 by Lexicon TCG for a Cold Foil Rapunzel. Ooh, Mushu. This is a very good card from the set that I want to talk about because I mean, I don't see people really playing Ruby Steel. Ruby Steel is not really talked about in the meta, but this card still sells for around $7. Astral Gaming LLC 768 for your Mushu, the what's it, Mushu Majestic Dragon. And I do think that this is just because this card's collectible, right? Like people just love Mushu.
Yeah, the Ruby Steel deck hasn't seen any breakout performance yet, but there are some, diehard fans that I know are very loyal to it. The the concept of this card I think is very good, and I think it's very has potential to be a very good card. So the collectability and the playability can impact that price too. It's inkable, and it's got the magic number 4 on its stats. And it allows you to gain lore when something banishes another character in a challenge, which I've always felt like is a very strong mechanic. And yeah, being just a dual link card, so specifically for that color combo, I think is what's going to hinder it the most. Other than that, it's a very good card.
What do you think of the price though? Like, why do you think it's this expensive given everything you just said?
I think it has a lot to do with the collectability. Maybe the pull rates are a little bit harder to get this card. But yeah, so many people have been begging for a Mushu card, and I'm curious to see like the sales and how many people are buying multiple play sets. If everyone's just buying one and more one foil, then it makes sense that it's collectible. But if everyone's buying like four, then like maybe people are actually playing it and we're like sleeping on something, Kevin.
I don't know if people are playing it. I'd like to chalk it up to the collectability and the pull rates because in my trove I think I only pulled one out of four troves. Out of four troves, I only pulled one Mushu, zero Gantus by the way. And most of the boxes I see don't really have too many Mushus. But yeah, people have been waiting for Mushu for the longest time. Shout out Mushu Report too. I know that guy's been waiting for it. And it's the only Mushu card in Lorcana so far. So I think it has to do with the collectability, and it does kind of let us know that there are collectors in Lorcana. And I've been kind of starting to build up my personal collection. I think a little bit more and more, and I think it'll grow. I think the collector community will continue to grow in Lorcana. I'm really excited for that. If you want a cold foil Mushu, they're around $11 by the way. Lowest verified is I Choose You for 1037 with $1 shipping. Let me know if you're collecting cards or if you guys are mainly playing the game. Overall, I feel like both communities are do exist, right? Let's talk about Maui Half Shark. This card coming down in price a little bit. They were closer to $45.40 today. A lot of non-verified sellers have them for $35. Lowest verified is going to be $37.99 by the Card Haven, so around $38, less than 40 for sure. Less than 40 right now. This card was just dominating the format last format, and I still think it's a great card. I definitely think that this card is handy in your Ruby Sapphire decks, but it does feel very limited to the Ruby Sapphire archetype. So in general, it's probably not going to see like the most amount of play like it did last format, especially if people are playing Sapphire Steel and other types of Sapphire decks. But if you want a cold foil Maui Shark, Collector's Calling is going to have it for $60 with $1 shipping right there. Then it jumps to Grail's Gone Wild. Shout out them. They're a local store from us, actually. 61 with $1 shipping. Then PPK Gaming, 63.76. So from $60 to $65 almost for a Maui Half Shark Cold Foil. Want to talk about Diablo? These are climbing back up in price little by little. If you guys didn't know, Emerald is a good color still. Emerald Steel, Emerald Amber, seeing a lot more play in the last couple weeks. Maestro's Marketplace, $28 with $1 shipping. Lowest verified. Then it jumps to $29.99 by R&R Gaming LLC, jumping back up to $30. Zach, do you like Diablo this meta?
Yeah and no, because there's a lot of steel, and I think Diablo's worst nightmare is steel. However, there's not too many cards that are being played that are evasive nowadays. I think that's been kind of slowly shifted away from this kind of meta. And just keep in mind, guys, cold foils and normals are closer to the same price. We've seen this happen plenty of times with other cards. This is also not the highest rarity of this card. It does come enchanted. So just keep in mind when you're shopping, when you're looking to buy cards to play, that if you can get yourself, a playset of cold foils for roughly the same price as you would normal ones, then I would consider that option. But if not,
Yeah.
go with what's available. This card is still, I think, a scary card for most decks to have to deal with. But a little unsure. There's a lot of different tools though. Emerald Steel does have a lot of ways to protect the Diablo.
Hitting Cove is
And
crazy.
yeah,
Hitting Cove really
yeah.
is crazy.
I'm still here giving characters resist too. The start of the next turn
Oh
isn't
yeah,
bad
yep,
either.
that's a really good one. Yep.
Um, you can get away with a lot of different ways to force the Diablo to stay on the board. And plus, if you're discarding every card out of their hand, they had nothing to play to get rid of it. So it's another resourceful way of getting it out. And speaking of a resourceful card, the resourceful miser Scrooge McDuck is a nice sapphire legendary set. I they got the biggest hits from this set. Sapphire coming out strong. This card's still staying around $25, I believe. It's a card I've been messing around with the ratios of, so I'm not too sure. A lot of people will say it's a solid four of. Kevin, what do you think? Do you play four? Do you play less?
I like it as a four of. I feel like if we were playing four Grandma Tala last format, I don't see why you don't play four Scrooge McDuck. It's kind of not obviously not the same card because there's no guarantee you're gonna grab a card, but in a lot of the item based decks, it's a very similar card except this has one more strength and one more willpower. That 4/4 body is so powerful in this meta. So being able to ramp into this card is pretty strong. I am surprised that it came down this much in price. They were selling for around $35 to almost $40 in the opening weekend, and right now Danish Cards has them for $24.81 with $1.30 shipping. Then Dragonloft $25. So it's about a $25 to $26 legendary, which is still good. It's still a good hit to pull from your boxes, your troves, etc. The cold foils are gonna be leveling out at around $45 to $50 still. So that's pretty nice. Some of these cold foil legendaries, man, they're hitting $50.82. Shipping included by start over for a cold foil Scrooge McDuck. Let's talk about Strength of a Raging Fire. This is from Rise of the Floodborn Set 2. This card just goes up higher and higher every week. This week, they're at $20 with $1.22 shipping. That's $21. East Kai Card Shop has them. Lowest verified. Shout out you guys. Why is this a $20 card, Zach, in your opinion?
I have two real reasons. I think there's two real reasons why this card's a $20+ card. One, it is seen in four copies in almost every single steel deck that you are playing right now. And two, it is it is inkable. What more do you want? What more do you want from a card that just says I can get rid of something. I can get rid of a threat, or I can pressure the opponent into into like removing my pieces, because the more cards you have in play, the better this card gets. But if it's ever bad, if you ever just can't keep a board up, you can just put it in your inkwell face down and just play it that way, and that's the beauty of the inkable card. So yeah, it deserves its price point. We're looking at staples become the the main thing to really hang on to. I know cold foils of this card are around like $35 right now, which is insane. I'm pretty shocked. Yeah, see, I'm pretty shocked that this card is still
It's a
seeing its staying its price point
mhm,
for a very
mhm.
long time. But yeah, I like this card a lot. Kevin,
It's
do you think that this card deserves its price? Do you feel like it should be cheaper? What are your thoughts?
Personally, I think the fact that it's an older card makes it this more expensive. You know what I mean? Rise of the Floodborn isn't a set that you can just find at Target willy-nilly. Sometimes you get lucky and you see it there. I think people forget though that this comes out in the Illumineer's Quest, the Ursula's in the Ursula's Return gift set basically, but a lot of people have those unopened. And a lot of stores still have them, and they just haven't opened them. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up hitting like higher and higher price points just because the singles aren't really there. Cold foils though, man, like yeah, that's pretty crazy. $35, getting very close to $40. After these last couple verified sellers, it's just unverified sellers at around 35 to $40. And another thing too about it that I just forget, that I don't even think about, Strength of a Raging Fire is a Mulan song, like from the Mulan movie, and I think it's one of the best Disney songs. I think it's one of the best songs that Disney has in general. So there is a world where this is just another collectible Mulan card. I mean, we see Mushu going up. Maybe there's a Mulan tax. I know a lot of people like Mulan as like one of their favorite Disney movies. And yeah, Strength of a Raging Fire. I'm pretty sure the singer is like Donny Osmond, right? Like I'm not, if I'm not mistaken. Like it's like a famous dude also. Something like that. So it's a collectible card too, realistically. So I think that's really cool. I'll Make a Man Out of You is the song from Strength of a Raging Fire. I like the song. It's very memorable. Let's talk about about the legendary Oswald Lucky Rabbit, not the D23 promo. These just tumbling down in price, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy what one player's deck list will do to the market, right? I think a lot of people are coming off this card. Zach, I know you really enjoy this card, but from $30 to $17, Top Deck TCGs has two of them for you ready to go. Lowest verified. The market is $19, but look at all these sales, 17, 17. They're no longer $20 plus. So if you pick them up due to the FOMO, I'm sorry, right now they're a little bit cheaper. And if you want them for your deck, maybe now's the time to pick them up because they're definitely coming down in price.
Yeah, something I have to kind of say though, the bigger picture is that this card went from $7 to $17. It's
Yes.
still a jump.
Heck
It
yeah.
is a jump from where it originally went. It's no longer at its all-time high. So yeah, if you miss the hype, you miss the hype, and that's how it goes in these kind of markets. There's volatility and everything. You kind of have to do your own research on, take your own risks on if that's the type of, business you're going with. But if you're just here to play the game, it's always about getting cheapest price possible. That way your entry into the game isn't so expensive. It isn't so bearing. But this Hades I know has gone up more in price. This is another example of the Sapphire effect where I think every card that's blue is being looked at twice and seeing if it can go up or down or not. And yeah, this Hades Infernal Schemer is a very hard card to hang on to in my inventory. And if you guys ever need to shop and pick up any cards for to play in these tournaments from your local game stores, I vend at Frankenson's Collectible Show at booth M4. You can catch me there on the weekends and on Wednesdays. And Kevin, you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yes. Well, I did mention it. I'm at Carlsbad Ninja Exchange. You go find us there every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if you want to say hi as well. A lot of people don't know they have that existed, and they have Lorcana there. So please go and say hi if you guys are in the San Diego County area, or if you're in the LA County area, go say hi to Zach at Frankincense. Shout out TCG Southside and Lorcana Mama for having these low prices for Hades Infernal Schemer, $13.99 with the dollar shipping and $15 with shipping included. Another first chapter card going up in price a little bit, and especially after those first chapter restocks, we're not seeing these cards go down in price either, which is really cool. Let me know if you guys got any first chapter restocks left, or if you guys are still finding them, because I'm still seeing people find them at Target as of this week. You got to get lucky though, because there's not that many available for what I've been seeing. But let's see the cold foils for this Haiti. Braden's MTG has them for $31.99 with the dollar shipping, very close to $35 per Snickety Pegasus. $33.96 with the dollar shipping. Then what is this? God cards going to be $34.37 with some extra shipping costs. So around a $35 cold foil and a $17 non foil. Not too bad. I want to talk about Calhoun, the Marine Sergeant. This card just very popular in the meta. Every steel, same thing with Strength of a Raging Fire. Every steel deck is like playing at least 2 to 3 copies of this card. This did come out in set 6, so there's definitely a lot more available as opposed to something like Strength of a Raging Fire, which came out in set 2. But lowest verified is going to be $11 with the dollar shipping, then $12 by the game station. So safe to say this is more than a $10 card. If you guys have them in your trade binder, make sure you're valuing them correctly. Tamatoa is so shiny. This card just continues to be a menace ever since set 2, because it wasn't very popular in set 1. But in set 2, red blue kind of became a real deck, and then set 3 it just started taking over, right? But today the lowest verified for a cold foil Tamatoa is $18.45, which I think is a deal. Shout out All Fiction Emporium for having this a very low price compared to some of these other ones, because Slick Sales next verified it jumps up to $25 basically. $24.30 shipping included, $24.39 by PPK Gaming. So maybe consider getting this one for less than $20 today. What do you think?
Yeah, no, they got two of them for you. If you might as well pick up that deal. If you guys are watching this and the deal's still available, go ahead and get yourselves these Tamatoas. If you've been looking to cold foil them out at that price, is very good. Honestly, deals like that don't last long. You saw prices of the Enchanted Tamatoa from the new set sell at around like $400. It's because somebody will list it and then they're gone just like that. So you never know how long these deals will last. Fishbone Quill cold foils are also going up. Again, anything blue is just being relooked at, and if you wanted to get them now, you're paying close to like not double, but pretty close to it, than you would have just about a few weeks ago, or about a month or so ago. $13 card to $20 card, so it's now a lot more harder to get. These first chapter packs were pretty much extinct from any Target that I've ever visited, and so you've been more fortunate than me. But the non foils are still like about $8, and it's just being played in like 3 to 4 copies in a lot of Sapphire decks. It's seen its way back into some Ruby Sapphire decks too. So I like Fishbone Quill a lot. I think double inking is what you want to do to be able to play your new 6 cost Tamatoa a little bit earlier. And yeah, Kevin, do you like Fishbone Quill and any other Sapphire decks that aren't red, blue, and blue
Personally,
steel?
Personally,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Fishbone Quill and Emerald Sapphire. I think Fishbone Quill plus Clarabelle is broken, and I've always appreciated that color combo for that strategy. But yeah, Fishbone Quill was like a $10 card for a very long time, and I think I want to mention that too because during the first few formats, this is one of the few ways you were able to ink twice or ink uninkable cards in the game, and it's timeless. It's a timeless card. It's very good. It's funny because whenever I'm like teaching people how to play Lorcana, or people come to the booth and they're like, "Oh, how is this game played?" and they play other card games, the first thing I show them is how the ink system works. The next thing I show them is Fishbone Quill, because obviously some people are like, "Oh, so what happens if you have a card you can't ink in your hand? It just stay there forever?" I show them Fishbone Quill, and they're just the light bulb goes off, and they're like, "Whoa, you can get rid of your uninkables and you can do it twice." So it's a very timeless card, and I think this is a cool card to like introduce to some players who are playing other card games and want to try Lorcana because it clicks. Like the strategy's there, you can see it immediately. Then I gotta show them Hiram Flavorsham. So show them the draw power in this game and how broken it could be. 416, the perfect stat line I think because it doesn't die to Zeus. Yeah, it gets hit by Brawl, but it's a 4 cost inkable. One of the best cards in the game, selling today for $30 now. Kayfabe Cards has them 29.27, lowest verified for your cold foil Hirams, and the market price was closer to $35 all week. So it's looking like we're seeing them for a little bit cheaper right now. You could even see some recent sales on the 19th. 3 of them selling for 35, one selling for 37, another one selling for 35. So seeing them here at $30 or let's say 27 with a dollar shipping is not bad at all. Shout out all these sellers for having some good prices on these cold foils today. I want to talk about some item removal cards that are kind of trending a little bit in the marketplace. Cold foil Benjas are going up a little bit. You're able to find them for around 50 cents with some extra shipping costs. But today, lowest verified is going to be a dollar now by GST Collectibles, and then at Kirwan's Game Store, a dollar with some extra shipping costs. So going up slightly for your Benja Guardian of the Dragon Gem, which is a way to pop items, and I think this card's still very good. I also want to talk about Hideaway. This card going up in price a little bit because if you're playing Sapphire, you gotta respect the Sapphire mirror matches, and this card can hit and locations, items, McDuck Manor, Lucky Dime, etc., etc. It's a 2 cost action too, which is very handy in your arsenal. And today, lowest verified is 183 with $1.31 shipping. Then it jumps to Zig's Card House $3 with $1 some shipping. But you can get them from some non-verified sellers for still closer to $3. What do you think, Zach?
I'm a huge fan of this card. I think Hideaway is a very slept on card, but the fact also is that it has a little bit of a versatility. It doesn't actually exclude you from not choosing your own cards. In case you're down bad in your ramp strategy, you can choose your own items or locations to essentially accelerate your game plan. But the just the 2 cost ability to kind of like remove something on the fly. We're looking at a lot of locations coming back into the meta. Another way to like tackle the Sapphire decks. It's just like outrace them, and one of the best ways to do that is with some location. So this is a solid answer. And also, putting cards into the inkwell prevents the Tamatoas from recurring those items back from the discard pile. So it's super crucial to like have a little bit of versatility in some of your removal, and destruct banishment may not be the key here. I find in my Platinum is a very interesting card. We're looking at cold foil copies go up to closer to like $7-8 today, which is insane because I'm not a big fan of this card. However, some other decks, like not Sapphire Steel, for example, are choosing to play. Like Amber Steel's taking a couple copies. It's meant to be for like a tempo swing. It's basically to force the decision of, hey, do you answer my board or you get back your items and replay again? Don't answer my board, win the game.
I've
And you're
I've
you're
been
playing
seeing
that kind of
some
game with them.
Yeah, I've been seeing like a lot of steel decks use this, amethyst steel, emerald steel, even amber steel because it's a song. It's heavy storm for all the Yu-Gi-Oh players out there. Banish every item on the board, including your own. Remember that it's not just the opponents, it's your own as well. So if you're trying to use this in a sapphire steel meta, and you're playing sapphire steel yourself, you got to make sure that you got to use this when you don't have any items. Like I can see the use case of it because sapphire steel does this shtick where they tend to just have like four popsicles, a workshop, and then like a couple other items on board, and they're able to just play one big Tamatoa, the so shiny Tamatoa, trigger their lucky dime, and bam, they just gain 10 lore because they have 8 to 9 items on the board. And I think that's really good. I can totally see why people want to play this card because at the end of the day, the Tamatoa Happy has a clam only grabs 2 items from the discard pile, and there's a world where this one card can banish up to like 5, 10 items on the board. Because Sapphire still be doing that. It's a very realistic strategy. I like this card. I probably wouldn't play like more than one though. And it's kind of interesting to see that there's this only like 6 listings available, and they're all more than $5 already. So you have this card. Maybe consider listing it yourself. Definitely put them in your trade binders if you have them as cold foils, because people are going to start asking for them, I think, in my opinion. But that's going to be all for the Friday weekly Market Watch, Zach Stone. I'm super excited to play this tournament tomorrow. Shout out Top Choice Gaming and any tournament organizers that are putting tournaments right now while we don't have any official tournaments happening. It's been getting harder and harder to play Lorcana for me personally. So I appreciate being able to play from my own home sometimes, or even just having friends to go to their houses. Shout out Jeff and the pizza parties, by the way, for playtesting and all that. So wish me luck tomorrow at the tournament. Zach Stone, we're going to go to Ninja today. I'm bringing him with me. So if you guys do decide to come by on this Friday, you're going to see him there too. That's going to be very cool. But until then, remember to stay tuned to Lurkana Goons. Zach, anything you want to say?
Just thank you guys for all the support. Thank you to anyone that's still here watching the video right now. You are the true Goon Squad member, so make sure you're in our Discord server and get into the action. And until then, we'll see you goons next time.